So today we will talk to Auritra Ghosh, who is an actor, a choreographer, a dance teacher, and an entrepreneur for a wellness brand called Pause in Effect. Hi, Auritra.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Shruti?
I'm good too. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
As soon as the pandemic started, I know the film industry came to a standstill. How did you tackle all of that with all the work happening and everything stopping? How do you tackle that?
I mean, I had no choice, or it wasn't in my control. Um, but of course, like everyone else, I had a few days of like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And where is life going? And is this the end? And I had all these moments. And then I quickly sort of uh, shifted my anxiety into doing things, and I started figuring out all the things I can do with my time. And I've been wanting to teach more for a while, like teach dance, but when you're shooting, you can't give very dedicated time, so I would just do workshops, because if you're teaching, and I'm obviously as a educator, you have to be very, very careful that if you're teaching on Mondays, then you have to keep all your Mondays free, for at least 6 months. um, and I was never able to sort of give that kind of commitment, because if a shoot comes up and then you have to change your dates. And the good thing during the pandemic was that I was able to block all my like Mondays for a batch or Tuesdays for another batch of kids and adults, and I was able to jump back into teaching regularly after many years, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was very um, it's great when you're not able to socialize also. It's great to sort of have a bunch of people to interact with. So it was a great way to spend my time. But
And you did have classes offline as well before, but obviously now everything turned online. So, what do you think are the activities that you needed to do to even get your audience and your students as well to get used to the idea of being in front of a laptop and learning?
so I actually learned a lot from the the kids in my like younger batch, and the seniors and I, we kind of picked up different ways to learn dance. So I made some changes in the way class is structured, and we had to sort of break the structure a little bit, um, give them some liberty. Also, space becomes such an issue. Everyone has a different floor they're dancing on. Everyone has a different, amount of space where they can move, or they're contained. So, choreographies had to have that sort of like flexibility. You can do it this way, or you can do it that way. Lefts and rights were always mixed up, so you can use your left leg or you can use your right leg. So there had to be some sort of like fluidity in the way things were choreographed and even taught. And so I think it was like an on the job kind of training, because you only come to know about these problems when you're teaching. Because, like, the first big problem I had was when I counted, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, everyone else is going like on some other pace, and like at when I'm saying 5, they're still at 3. So all these things, then like then I had to come up with solutions like, okay, now you play music, and then I'll make everyone the host, and then everyone can share their music. So when you're dancing, you play your music. When you're, so like little solutions like this had to be figured out. And then I realized that sometimes my lefts and rights don't matter at all, because like whoever's picking up whichever side, it's fine. you know
Makes sense.
it was hilarious, it's fun, but it's also taught a lot of things to us as educators.
What all digital activities did you have to do to market yourself as well?
Well, I always feel that I can do way more than I do when it comes to marketing. I'm generally, I wouldn't say lazy, but I'm very old school, and I feel like if I've talked about it once, it'll, there will be word of mouth. And I'm a bit passive with, the way, uh, I'm not that aggressively promoting myself, but I used all mediums. So I used my Instagram, to promote, talk about it. I made videos. I learned editing during the uh, um lockdown, because I kind of knew a little bit about editing, but I can really edit music, and not at a very professional level, but I can edit music, I can edit videos. So I started making my own sort of promotional 20 seconders, 10 seconders, and then I used all sorts of channels like WhatsApp, Facebook, groups, and Instagram, and I would put them up, and I made my own, like, um, promotional videos. Then I made my show reel. I edited some old show reel. I put in some new work. I updated my CV, and I send that. And CVs, more than, when it comes to performing arts, like, it's so important to visually see what you're doing, and not so much about, what all you've done. That's great. People will read it, but they want to see what all you have done. And so it's very important to send them videos. So I sat down, I made a lot of videos, and I sent them across to different, um, like, studios also, that went online, going, hey, I'm teaching. So, you know and then they started sending me these options of, okay, you can teach here, you can teach there. And now I'm associated with, like, two schools, two companies. I'm training some kids, I'm training adults. Like, there's a lot of classes now.
Exactly. That's the best part about this pandemic, though. It also made us learn a lot of
Mhm.
stuff as well. So we became students and teachers, which is great. It
Yeah,
really made us expand the horizon so much more.
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I will always be very lazy about editing my own stuff, my own videos. I'll be like, there's always someone who does it better than me. Why should I do it? Like, I don't think it's not so much arrogance. I guess it's more like, maybe I'm not so good at it. But I now I make sure that all my work is, edited by me. I can use music. I know how to put music. I know how to, like, put layers, and, like, anyway. But I'm still an amateur editor, but I can do my own. I can create my own content now, which is a big deal. I just have to, like, now get in there and do it. But yeah.
Exactly. And you're an entrepreneur as well. So you have a wellness brand. And that used to also physically take people for weekend getaways, and you have activities. So now, how did that change come about with the pandemic?
Yeah. But we realized that it had to be done online, and so we shifted the whole thing online. And um, what we usually do are these, like, wellness weekends, which lasts for over, like, 2.5 days, from Friday morning to Sunday evening. But then we also figured that being in front of the laptop for that long is just insane. And also, it makes a difference that you're indoor and not outdoor with nature. So we kind of compressed that whole thing into a 1 day event, and then I did, like, a series of online 1 day events, which was, again, like, a combination of different activities like yoga or meditation, dance. Um, there were many other things that we used to do, like aerial silk and stuff, but that was not possible. So we obviously we curated it in a different way this time. Like, actually, when I say we, it is mostly me, but also I collaborate with some other companies. So, but we curated it in a way that we could bring in more conversations, and we could not just communicate, but also sort of, like, take in questions from our audience. So improve on our interaction. So instead of just watching us or following instead of just watching or following the instructors or the teachers or the yogis, they could ask, and they would get, like, solutions to their sort of, little questions that they have. We also got in some psychologists on board, and so they were able to answer generic questions, obviously nothing to do with very specific questions, but as much as possible shifting it online. When you shift it online, you also want to figure out how can you engage your audience. So it was all our events since morning till evening. There was a cooking show and everything. We made sure that all our artists and our gurus or instructors on board, they all give some time to address questions. So it wasn't just like teaching and now okay, done, bye bye, but we kept like 10 minutes to just interact, ask how do they feel, feedback, just talking about how they feel also really helps. So yeah, and shifting it online was uh, hard, but also everything was online at that time during lockdown. So it was a quick sort of uh, people quickly adapted to it also, so it was great. And we got in so many new things like mandala making and things which were more visual, um, because on ground a lot of things were done which was like capoeira and stuff, but you can't do capoeira next to furniture, you'll break a bone or something. So we moved it to we moved it to more creative stuff and more visual stuff that you would feel great watching also on a screen.
That's great. So basically, your aim was for personal growth, mental peace, wellness, and that turned from offline activities to even online. And you could figure out how you could do that with one on one as well. So, which is
Yeah, yeah. So the it was not just good for everyone, it was also great for us because it was a stressful time, and to focus on creating a good environment where you can feel in control of yourself is I mean, that was the only thing one could do then. So yeah, it while I was busy working on it, I also felt very, there was a purpose, there was a reason I was doing this. And even though we had not quite figured out the online model yet, but trying it and figuring out and failing sometimes and then succeeding at the times was great. That the lags, we couldn't figure out how to solve those problems, but the second time we figured that maybe live shows can be pre-recorded and then put out, um, because sometimes the internet might be great on our side but not so much on the artist side. So the first time we did it, we had like lots of lags because towards the end of the evening we would have performances also, and some really good artists came on board. But then the next time we realized that it's better that we record it with with the artists, with better, with apps that support recordings better, and then transmit it, like whatever, on um,
okay.
live.
Yeah.
And that worked way better, and it was more consistent, and we weren't getting delayed. There was this one time when I had to first interview the artist for like 5 minutes, not really interview, but like just do like a little chat and talk about his work and then start. And I literally said hi, I signed in, said hi, how are you, and in 5 seconds after that my internet just went kaboot. Okay, I have no idea what happened to my internet. And then, the poor guy was just left feeling like, wow, now I have to handle all of this on my own. And then he started talking about his own work on his own without a moderator. And I was just like struggling to come back online. But those things happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we worked around it and figured it out.
Lastly, so I want to know, what is your favorite social media channel to engage with everybody, to market yourself, everything?
I think I'm a visual person. So for me, it's still Instagram for sure. Because I imagine in like pictures
Yeah,
and
that makes
colors.
sense. That makes sense. And thank you so much, Auritra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure.